Should be coming in any minute now. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, football fans. I'm Ryan Cato. I just slammed an egg salad sandwich, and this is Hunter Thompson, and we are the Backups of Football podcast. We're now part of the Around the Block podcast network, so shoot them a follow on Twitter. Check out the other podcasts. Some good content going to start coming out of there in the next couple weeks and months. But Hunter, how you feeling today? We got 2 days till the draft.
Bro, I need this week to hurry up and just come and go. I'm so tired of it because all the smoke and all the fighting and everyone just it's a lot. But you know, it's the end of the cycle. We'll take a few weeks off and then we're gonna start this whole process over again.
Right. It'll take till training camp and then we'll be bored and ready to start talking about 2022. This happens every draft cycle. The last week is just torturous. You just wanted to be here, you know. So on that note, we're giving a backups final mock today. Hunter and I have actually both already kind of gone through our final mocks. We're going to be doing some draft coverage day of. So if you want to join us for that, we're going to try to go live on YouTube. We'll have a Google spreadsheet where we'll be tracking our accuracy and kind of giving our thoughts pick by pick. So get ready for that. But today we're going to be working on a backups final mock. All 32 teams, just the first, well, not 32 teams, I guess. We got a few teams that traded out, but all 32 picks in the first round. And that's going to be about how it goes. Hunter, do you want odds or evens?
I'll take evens.
Okay,
I think I had odds last time.
Okay, sounds good. So if you are joining us on YouTube, you can see I'm sharing my screen. Unfortunately for our audio-only listeners, you won't be able to see it, but we'll go through each pick from the Jags all the way down to the Bucks, 1 through 32. So if you're going to take evens, I guess I'd pick number 1. It's pretty much locked in as Trevor Lawrence. I don't think that there's any reason to take anyone else. We've done 1,000 mock drafts on this podcast, and I don't think we've done a single one where the first pick wasn't Trevor Lawrence. So no reason to start now.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, this is going to be a what we think's going to happen mock, not a what we would do mock. So at pick 2, I'm going to have Zach Wilson going. He's my 4th ranked quarterback, first round grade still, good playmaker across the board. Pretty good size, very good arm. He's just not who I would personally go with here. I would probably go Fields, but that's a different conversation. Jets just love what they see in Wilson, so from all the reports, it's going to be Wilson, which is fine because they're still getting a starting quarterback, which is good.
So pick number 3. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on pretty much all that. I think if you're a listener of our podcast, you kind of know where we stand on the quarterbacks. We talked about it on Good Takes Only. We talked about it on our quarterback episode. So no reason to beat a dead horse there, but Zach Wilson wouldn't be my choice either. At 3, I think this is where we're not really sure what's going to happen. I think that this is the first place where we're kind of confused because I think that there's 3 quarterbacks that could go, which makes me so nervous.
So I have fully bought back in on the Mac Jones at 3 hype.
I hope it's not that, dude. I know you sent me a couple threads and a couple tweets that made me think like, it probably is Mac Jones at 3. But that's just I feel like that's such a big mistake for the 49ers with Justin Fields on the board.
Apparently Fields isn't even like part of the process anymore.
Yeah, it's just Jones or Jones.
Yeah, which blows my mind because I feel like those two, like if you were to give up 3 first-round picks for those 3, I feel like those are like not the ones that I would give up 3 first-round picks for.
Right. Because, I mean, we've talked about it a bit before, but in my opinion, I think Fields is the highest floor guy right now. He's the safest first-day starter out of those 3. I think Jones is actually probably a pretty safe guy too, but I don't think his ceiling is anywhere near Trey Lance's. So it makes me nervous. But from what we've been seeing, it looks like Mac Jones is the guy. So I'm going to lock it in. Mac Jones at 3. I think on my personal mock draft, I put Fields at 3. So we're going to see. But it is incredible to me that that's going to be the pick. And pick number 4, you got the Atlanta Falcons, which is clutch for you, but look at their top draft need there.
Yeah, I don't know how the Draft Network goes through and decides team needs, because I think safety is a much bigger need than tight end, because we already have 4 tight ends on a roster.
Right.
But, it is what it is. I think we're going to go Trey Lance at pick 4, honestly. Apparently, rumor has it that the Falcons are in love with one specific quarterback, and I think that guy is Lance. But who's to say they don't go Pitts here? But I think it's going to be Lance.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be Lance too. It'll be interesting. I don't know, man. The assassination of Justin Fields ranking this draft has been so crazy to me. Just like the constant downing on Justin Fields, where he was arguably the number 1 quarterback in the draft. Trevor Lawrence is definitely, we've talked about a generational prospect, but Fields was solidly 2, if not up there. And then suddenly he's the 5th QB off the board. So no good for me. We've talked a bit about this Bengals pick. Is it Malik Wright on Twitter?
Yes, from the Wright Report.
Yes. Seems to think it's Jamar Chase at 5. I still think it should be Sewell, but Burrow's never been better than he was when he was throwing to Jamar Chase. And if we've seen how good Justin Jefferson can be in the NFL, and Jamar Chase was better than him on that team, you're looking for a receiver. I mean, Jamar Chase is that guy.
It's also the Bengals, who pretty much have like the smallest scouting department in the NFL.
Yeah,
so they probably just remember watching Joe Burrow last year and said, "Oh man, that guy that he's throwing the ball to is pretty good."
Right. It just seems like for an NFL team that's a little laissez-faire to me, but with the receivers in this class, it wouldn't be surprising to me if we don't see a tackle until later, except for here at pick 6. We were talking a bit about this before, and you've got pick 6 here, Miami.
Yeah. So at the time of recording, the trade for Eric Flowers, thank you, from Miami to Washington had just kind of happened, and everything's pointing to Robert Hunt being moved from tackle to being kicked inside to a guard. According to I think Miami Herald or something like that. I don't remember what the newspaper was, but they're the ones that reported that. And so here I have them going Penei Sewell.
Yeah. Which I think tackle has been an option kind of since we started talking about, this mock draft, whether it was at 3, whether it was at 6. We always thought Robert Hunt could maybe kick in, but I think Eric Flowers getting traded would kind of confirm that they could pick tackle here at 6, although there is still an option at 18.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends on who they're interested in. I mean, it could be Sewell here. It could be one of those Bama receivers too. But at pick number 7, we've got the Lions. I think they've got to go receiver here. We've been talking about them going receiver for months. I think they're going to go the Heisman winner, Devontae Smith.
I like that one, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's an all-around kind of guy. Jalen Waddle's a pretty complete receiver, more complete than I previously thought, but still more of a deep threat type guy who's gonna, either gonna be running those tiny routes in the fronts, running the mesh across the field in the slot, or he's going to be going very deep. Devontae Smith can do it all. He's getting separation at the very beginning of the route. I think that he's a complete receiver, and I think the Lions will like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick for the Lions. I do think the Lions could be a trade back candidate. just because I think somebody could potentially move up to try to grab a sliding quarterback or a Kyle Pitts. Like we said earlier in our texts, maybe Dallas trades up to 7 to get Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, and then Dallas is Jerry Jones at least has shown interest. I think 7's a really good spot for a trade up as well because, like you said, a sliding quarterback. I mean, you've got Carolina here at 8, who I don't think is going quarterback, but they could. And then the Broncos could definitely go quarterback here at 9. And so, 7 is the last chance you get before you get all the way down here.
So we can see the Patriots even shoot up.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots, Bill Belichick hasn't traded up very much in his coaching/GM career, but it's very possible. I mean, Washington, Chicago, so it could be, yeah. I guess it just depends on who likes their guy. But here at 8, who do you think they're going?
Yeah, I have the Panthers going Kyle Pitts. They lost Curtis Samuel, so they kind of lost the over-the-middle guy. Kyle Pitts gives that and then some because he's, an elite prospect. And he also provides new quarterback Sam Darnold kind of a safety net option for him in his growth. And plus Joe Brady with another elite athletic weapon would just be fun.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, you look at the Travis Kelce, the Darren Wallers of the league, and Kyle Pitts, I'd put right up there with them in terms of athletic ability and ability to be that safety net. Kyle Pitts definitely I could lock in at 8. At 9, damn, I really think Justin Fields will be gone by now because someone's going to trade up, whether that is the Broncos or that's another team. And the Broncos have bigger needs than a quarterback. But I think, Drew Lock, we talked about, hasn't been given enough time. And I think they've got big needs on the defense as well. I don't think I'm going to go quarterback here. I think that there's going to be probably a trade up, but I think if the Broncos stick and pick, I think they're going to beef up that defense. Man, I just don't know who they're going to go.
I think it's going to be Parsons.
Yeah, Parsons wouldn't surprise me. I'm just looking at corner too. Makes me think. But yeah, I think Parsons works really well in the Fangio defense. He's still an elite prospect. I mean, we were talking about him being a top 5 prospect before any off the field issues that came about. And if you're looking for a guy with talent, you think you can coach him into a good young man, then I think Parsons is a fine pick in the top 10. I just am nervous that that'll be a drop out of those top 10 or out of the top 15 even. So who do you think?
I mean, I don't know. Like, this draft's going to be weird regardless.
Yeah.
Just because COVID year and everything. So maybe a guy like Parsons who has these rumored off the field issues slides. We don't really know.
Yeah. Not at all.
I mean, I feel like most years, like, it's easier to tell, but this year, like, I feel like it's hard to gauge who has interest in who, and who, all that stuff. Pick 10, Cowboys. I'm gonna go J.C. Horn here.
Yep.
Number 1 corner, physical, good impress, just bigger guy too. Fits kind of what Dan Quinn wants. He's not the best in zone, or we don't really know how he is in zone because South Carolina did not do a lot of zone.
Yeah.
And when they did, it was some stupid soft zone coverage. So, I don't know. I think Horn is just a good addition. He brings swagger and confidence to the Dallas defense and would be a good pairing with Trevon Diggs.
Yeah, I think that pass defense needs to be buffed, whether it's Horn. I think Surtain would be a great pick here, too. We've mocked Surtain to the Cowboys 1,000 times, but Horn's really been on the rise, so it wouldn't surprise me if he was the first corner off the board here. At number 11, the Giants pick. I think the Giants have a lot of holes to fill. I think they could go corner here. I think realistically they could go pretty much anywhere on the defense, and no one would be complaining about it. But I think they're going to go receiver. Jalen Waddle's still on the board. I think he's a strong asset to that offense. Plus, the Eagles pick next, an in-division rival, and I don't think they want the Eagles anywhere near Jalen Waddle. I don't think they want to have to deal with that. So Jalen Waddle, I'll take him on the New York Giants. I think that's a pretty likely pick there. If one of those top three receivers is still on the board.
I definitely really like that. Like pairing Waddle with Kenny Golladay. I think that's really good for Daniel Jones if you do want to give him one more shot to prove that he's the guy there.
Yeah.
And then if he's not, it gives you weapons for whoever ends up taking the reins after Daniel Jones.
Right. I mean, you have Golladay, now Jalen Waddle, Saquon back from his injury. So maybe it's starting to shape up there in New York. And I mean, honestly, their defense didn't look terrible last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if they went offense anyway. Eagles pick at 12.
Yeah. I hate the Eagles pick because of them trading back to 12. Like, there's nothing here that feels like a good pick. So I'm gonna have them going Rashawn Slater here.
Huh.
Yeah, it's the same pick I had them doing in my Draft Right mock. But check that out if you haven't already. But it's one of those things where they just need to get better all over. And Slater can be a plug and play on the offensive line anywhere. Pretty much, he can play any of the 5 starting line positions. You play him at guard, you play him at tackle, like you can play him anywhere. So that way you're getting the best. He's going to be on the field because he's a top 5 lineman for them, I'm sure, or will be at least. And it just gives you a way to make sure you have your best players on the field, which is what Philly needs because they are a absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Howie Roseman's drafting history since he took over in Philadelphia, that man loves going the trenches in the first round. I mean, a good amount of his first round picks have either been the offensive or the defensive line, and so I think it's really likely that they could go line once again here at 12, and that kind of sets up a tough pick at 13 for the Chargers because, I mean, Darisaw is here, and then you have a guy like AVT who's still on the board.
So you also have Patrick Surtain available.
Exactly, but you still have Surtain available as well, and so I think that if Slater is gone, then they'll probably go corner. Because I think Slater would probably be best fit for this Chargers team. But with Surtain still here, Slater off the board, I think it's going to be Surtain at 13. They're getting an all-around corner. I mean, this is a guy who can play solidly, against a wide receiver 1. He was playing against wide receiver 1s for however many years. Was he a junior? Yeah, for 3 years at Bama. So I think that would be a great addition to that pass defense in LA.
Yeah, I really like that pickup. I feel like I probably would have went Darisaw there, but that's Surtain's very, very good with the way the board's falling. The Vikings. The Vikings are a team where no matter what I do, I always feel like I'm underwhelmed with the pick.
Right.
And I always feel like I could have done something better.
So do something snappy. I was talking to Lamers on Twitter, okay? Coach Lamers, you can follow him at Andrew Lamers. He's one of our buddies on Twitter. He loves talking the draft.
He's Cato's future best friend.
My future buddy, we're both moving to Arizona at different times, but he mocked Mac Jones at 14 to the Vikings. So that is not even close to their biggest need, right?
Right.
But Kirk Cousins isn't getting younger. They need to pull a Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love situation. Do they take Fields at 14? I mean, Fields with falling this far.
Right. So the only issue with that is I feel like Spielman and Zimmer are both on the hot seat after last season. And then after watching Jeff Gladney absolutely bust in the first round due to off-the-field issues, doesn't help anything. So I think I don't like this one, but I am changing it up from my normal pick, which is normally Vera Tucker.
Okay. Which is, yeah, solid pick at 14.
I think they go Greg Newsome here at corner.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, back-to-back first-round corners from the Minnesota Vikings. Greg Newsome is pretty slept on, I think. He was solid against Big Ten competition.
Newsome is my CB2 at the moment. So, I think the consensus top 4 for most people is Horn, Surtain, Newsome, Farley in some order.
Yeah.
And I think any of those 4 are good. The only issue with Newsome and Farley is they both have some injury concerns. But I think Farley's injury concerns outweigh Newsome's much, much more. Because, back problems.
Right.
And non-contact ACL injuries. In a position where you kind of have to be fast, and ACL injuries and those have issues.
Yeah, I definitely think Newsome could be the pick there at 14. I mean, they have to hit on a corner prospect. They did hit on Cam Dantzler last year. He was really good.
They hit on Gladney too. He just had the off the field issues.
Well, so, right. I mean, and so he's gone now. But I think Newsome could bring it together, that defense. I mean, they still have a long way to go on that Minnesota Vikings team. But at 15, you got the New England Patriots. If Justin Fields is still on the board, they got to take him. I think they have to. I mean, they've got Cam for another year. I wouldn't even be surprised if they made Cam and Justin Fields fight for the starting QB position. Didn't even sit him, I think that Fields is an excellent prospect, and Belichick knows that. And if they're looking for a guy who's going to, be their next franchise quarterback, Fields falling to 15 is like the best possible scenario.
Right. And the thing is, like, it's wild, like, seeing Fields slide this far. Yeah. But from, like, most of the, like, insider guys that I've been, like, hearing from and seeing their Twitters and timelines and tweets on the timeline. Wow, that was so much harder to say than it needed to be. Justin Fields is apparently, like, supposed to slide into the teens, is what a lot of people are expecting.
That's so wild to me, man. I don't understand what the holdup is.
Yeah, I have no idea what the issue is or anything like that, but he's apparently supposed to slide. So
I don't know. I think we may have a bust or two up here in the top 4. So it'll be interesting to see a couple years down the line. But 16, we got the Arizona Cardinals, my future home, Phoenix, Arizona. And they got a couple holes to fill, probably on defense. What are we thinking at 16?
I think they go. Shit. I think normally this is where I put Surtain or Newsome. So the fact both already gone is just
a corner run up here in the teens.
I think this is where they go Vera Tucker.
Okay. I could see that.
Just bolster the offensive line, keep Kyler upright, and hope for the best. There are rumors that they do trade up, or that they're trying to trade up for a receiver.
Okay. You think it'll be Waddle?
I think would probably be Waddle or Smith, or honestly whoever slides. But I don't know why they would trade up for a receiver, honestly.
I mean, they'd probably have to trade up to 10 to trade up for a receiver.
You have to either switch with the Giants or get ahead of the Giants. And Gettleman doesn't trade down, so you probably have to get ahead of the Giants.
Right, so 10, 9, something like that. I mean,
maybe 12. I think you could maybe go to 12, because I don't think realistically all 3 top receivers go in the top 11.
No, I think if they don't, then the Eagles are going to stick and pick a receiver.
Exactly. I think they all go in top 12, but I think you have to.
Right. So, I mean, I guess it just depends. I mean, Gettleman's probably not going to trade down. That's why I don't know. I don't know if the Cowboys will trade down either. So it'll be interesting to see. I guess it'll be based on where they think the corners are going to go. But I mean, wide receiver wouldn't be the worst idea. in Arizona. I mean, you just lost Fitzgerald. You have D-Hop.
Is Fitzgerald not back?
He just retired, didn't he?
I could have sworn he re-signed a 1-year deal.
All right, let's see. But either way, you're about to lose Fitzgerald, even if you.
Right, but they also just added. Oh, he's currently a free agent. Oh.
Yeah, so he hasn't re-signed yet.
Oh, he probably has an offer, and then
expect Fitzgerald to retire.
Yeah, he just hasn't officially made the decision yet. Okay.
Fitzgerald's decision won't affect Cardinals draft plans. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw them go receiver here, because aside from Fitzgerald, you have D-Hop, Christian Kirk, who's probably a wide receiver 3, and then Andy Isabella. And so
they signed AJ Green.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't think that counts.
I mean, I'm just throwing that one out there for namesake.
Right. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure if that is the move in terms of receiver 1, but either way, I mean, I think adding a weapon to that group would be good. Try either way. It doesn't matter. We got the Raiders at 17.
I think the Raiders are going to do something weird here.
It feels like, okay. It feels like they might go DT. Like they could go Barmore here. Or something weird like that. I think a good idea would be to go JOK.
So the thing with Mayock and Gruden is the trend has been every year in the first round they pick a guy who's like a high character guy from a high program. So
I mean, Barmore.
So I mean, maybe Joe could work here. I just mocked them Leatherwood because I don't know why that felt right, and I think they would do something weird like that. But my board also looked completely different, just the way that it was going.
Right. I mean, if they're going to go tackle, Darisaw is still here on the board. Darisaw, I think, is an excellent prospect. Same thing with Tevin Jenkins. But if we're thinking about, the high programs, high character guy, I mean, JOK, I think, fits that mold.
I saw somebody apparently there's there's a weird predictions part of what the Raiders are going to do floating around on Twitter. And somebody said they think the Raiders have an outside shot at taking Spencer Brown, the tackle from Northern Iowa.
Spencer Brown is my boy, okay? But, I don't have him above Darisaw. Good Lord.
I don't either, but, I think Spencer Brown is my weird dark horse sleeper of a guy that can sneak into the first round. God, he's 6'8.5".
Yeah, he's fucking
Jesus Christ.
I'm not gonna pick Spencer Brown. I think that is a cool pick that we may work on in our draft coverage. You can see here real quick, if you're watching on YouTube, we've got the final mocks, which I'm going to be uploading, and then we're going to work on pick by pick predictions. So if you are interested in watching our draft coverage, we'll go after each pick, make a prediction for the next pick based on who's still on the board, and it's going to be a lot of good time. So please join us for draft coverage on YouTube. But that may be a guy that we talk about at 17 during that. I'm going to go JOK. I can't go Spencer Brown in the first round under good conscience. Linebacker makes sense. JOK is an overhang defender. Excellent safety prospect as well, honestly. I think that could be really good at 17. And the Dolphins pick at 18 after picking tackle Penei Sewell at 6. Who do you think at 18?
So they just added Penei Sewell in our mock. I'm going to have them going Rashad Bateman here.
Yeah.
Apparently. Oh wait, shit! I want. If only I could change that pick.
Who else would you think?
I think it is probably going to be Elijah Moore.
Okay. We can go Rashad Bateman for the sake of it. Elijah Moore is another option here at 18. I mean, like, I don't know. I think Rashad Bateman's more of an all-around receiver than Elijah Moore. And Elijah Moore is just so small. It makes me nervous, dude.
So, yeah, the thing with Moore is he's small, but he also gives them the type of receiver that Tua thrived with the smaller, shiftier yak guys. While Bateman's more of...
There's definitely going to be some of those in the second and third round too, you know?
Oh, for sure. I mean, this receiver class is absolutely loaded. So, like, yeah. I don't even know if they go receiver here, but because they still have Devontae Parker, Preston Williams is back. They added Will Fuller. So, like, they have a decent receiver room. Not anything special, but they have a decent receiver room. Yeah. But I think adding Bateman or like Moore here really gives them the opportunity to take it to the next level.
Yeah, certainly. At 19, we got the Washington football team. This is one we talked about that we both really like. Tevin Collins at 19 to the Washington football team. Darisaw still is on the board here. So that makes me think because with him, with Jenkins, but I think Tevin Collins would be a really good fit in Washington. I'm going to go him here. They can always go some of those later round tackles. We've got a pretty deep tackle class, in my opinion, too. When you get down here with Spencer Brown, Stone Forsythe. I mean, James Hudson was a bit disappointing on relative athletic score, but I think he could still be solid. Deontay Smith.
I refuse to hear any James Hudson slander on this podcast.
I mean, those are just the numbers. I'm not saying I don't like him, but there's definitely some guys down here that they could go as well. And Tevin Collins is a pretty special player, as we've seen. I mean, he's not my favorite linebacker in this draft, but I think he could be a really big asset to that defense.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think Ron Rivera would know how to use him properly, also, which is the big thing.
Yeah, I agree. At pick number 20, what do you think? What do you think the Bears go here?
I think that at this point the Bears will have moved. I think they will have tried to get up for a quarterback, and I think they would have packaged the farm for it. Like,
right.
I think we would have seen like 3 first-round picks to move up to like 11 or something like that.
Yeah.
But since we're not doing trades, I think they're going to go Christian Darisaw here, just because they need to bolster the offensive line and keep, God forbid, Andy Dalton upright. But
yeah, it's not my choice at quarterback, but they've got nobody down here because unless they trade up, they're not getting anybody in the top 5. So Darisaw, great tackle prospect. I think that they could, really build the trenches for their future. And I think the same thing is going to happen at 21 with the Colts. I think they're going to go tackle as well. I'll take a look at the tackles just to see who's on the board, but man, I would go Tevin Jenkins, but I think it might be Sam Cosmi. Sam Cosmi is a athletic freak, big old boy, 6'7", 300.
Isn't he like the number 1 RAS tackle or something like that?
Something like that. He and Brady Christensen were 2 of the best athletic tackles in since 1990 was it? What's his name that's doing it on Twitter?
Math bomb. Kenneth Ken something. Let me check. I feel like I should know his name.
Yeah, I feel like I should know his name too. But Cosmi, big old boy. He started 34 games. I mean, it doesn't get too much better.
Kent Lee Platt doing RAS scores on Twitter, and Cosmi is way up there. And so I think he has a real chance to go early in this, like not early, but earlier than expected in this first round. And I think the Colts would be a great fit for him. I mean, Costanzo just retired, and so they need to fill that hole. I think plugging it straight in, first round tackle, is going to be a good idea
And there's still several tackles on the board.
Yeah, I think they trade back. I do. Because that's just how Chris Ballard works.
Yeah.
But either way, I think they go tackle with their first pick, wherever that may be.
Yeah. 22, we got the Tennessee Titans. They have a couple of holes to fill from free agency, from losing some people in free agency rather. And where do you think they go here at 22?
Yeah, so they have some giant holes like in the secondary. They let their 2 starting corners both walk in free agency, and so that could be a spot there for like Caleb Farley. But I'm gonna go Tevin Jenkins here.
Okay.
Because this whole team's backbone is Derrick Henry, right?
Right.
And last year they drafted Isaiah Wilson in the first round to kind of be like a mauling right tackle for them. He's out of the league right now, completely gone. So here I give them Tevin Jenkins. This man looks like he will build you a rocket ship to take you to space, but of course I don't have a picture on there. Of course I have no picture on the Draft Network. But Tevin Jenkins does not look like a mauler, but my God, the dude is an absolute mauler in the run game. Big, physical, yes. For the people watching on YouTube, yes, that's Tevin Jenkins. Looks like he will build you a spaceship. I guess it's the glasses, which I don't really have any room to talk because, we both wear glasses. But he looks smarter in glasses than we do.
Yeah, certainly. And he's 315 pounds. So
and 6'6",
Right. Massive. Yeah, I think Tevin Jenkins, if you're going to continue working in that same kind of offense where Derrick Henry kind of runs the show, Tevin Jenkins is a good investment. They did pick up Christian Fulton last year, as well as, didn't they get Janoris Jenkins in the offseason?
Yeah, they added Janoris Jenkins and they have Christian Fulton, who are both
Malcolm Butler as well, right?
No, Malcolm Butler's gone. He's free agent.
Malcolm Butler's gone, but they added Janoris Jenkins.
Yeah, Malcolm Butler's in Arizona. Him and Robert Alford are the slotted starting corners right there in Arizona right now.
So, but I think Jenkins is it's a good choice here at 22. And if you weren't going to go Farley at 22, I'm going to go Farley at 23. I think the Jets have a couple of options here. You see Farley. I think no edges off the board yet could mean they go edge here with there's not a lot of top talent in this edge class, but I think Farley could easily be the pick at 23. The Jets have a long way to go, but 2 first-round picks I think will help them out. Hopefully, they don't have 2 busts with Wilson at 2 and medical bust with Farley at 23. So,
yeah, I mean, yeah,
it can be dangerous.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Pittsburgh Steelers. Do I want to do it?
I think that they could go running back.
Do I want to do that pick, though?
I think that they could go Leatherwood, too. You could go Leatherwood if you want to.
I don't know if that makes it any better or worse, honestly.
I mean, Leatherwood can play tackle. He can play guard.
Yeah, so the only issue is with the linemen that you can take here, I think you could trade up for in the second and get.
Yeah.
Like Radens, I think you could trade up for in the second and get. Christensen, you can probably get. Leatherwood, I think, is going to slide some.
Would the same go for Najee Harris, though?
That's the issue, is I don't know if Najee's going to slide as far. So I guess, God, I hate this, but I guess I'm going to go running back and go Najee Harris here.
Najee Harris.
Friendly reminder, running backs don't matter, but
running backs don't matter. But we're gonna pick one in the first round. We may pick 2. Wait till we get to Buffalo.
Najee's fun. We're gonna go Najee. Najee's fun.
Yeah, we like Najee.
You can sell me on that. Najee's fun.
Okay, he's fun. We'll say Najee. We don't feel good about it, but it might not be a terrible idea. We've got the Jags at 25. I'm gonna go safety for them. No safeties off the board yet, and I don't think there's a top-level safety in this class. Last year it was kind of a similar situation, but you had McKinney, you had Winfield, so it was a bit of a better class. I think it may be Morig, but I've seen a lot of Richie Grant hype in terms of like what the league thinks of him. I'm a big Richie Grant guy, so I've got kind of a spider sense. Let's call my spider senses are tingling that Richie Grant might be the guy in the first round, but we'll go Trayvon Morig for old time's sake. I think he's probably the top safety prospect in this class, and the Jags could use somebody deep on that defense.
Yeah, I absolutely love Richie Grant. So I think there's a very real chance he could sneak in the first round. Yeah. He's another one of my sleeper first round guys. Okay, Browns. So this is where things get a little dicey again because the Browns could do so much here. They could go edge, they could go backer, they could go Christian Barmore, they could go any defensive lineman. But they could also go receiver.
They could. I mean,
Corey Kinnan, I think is how you pronounce his last name. The Browns guy on Twitter. He does, I think, with the first pick. I think it's the one he runs. But he's been talking about how the Browns could easily go receiver in the first round and will go receiver earlier than people are expecting because after this upcoming season, they only have 3 receivers on roster. OBJ, who's coming off an ACL injury, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Jarvis Landry, who can be cut for like a $15 million cap saving.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, you need a guy who's not a gadget guy. You need like a solid receiver. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of gadget guys here. Elijah Moore, Kadarius Toney, Rondale Moore. I mean, Amari Rodgers played a lot in the slot. So
right. So it's one of those things where if Rashad Bateman was still here, that is who I would be going with.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who's rumored to be potentially sliding. I don't know why, but he's just a guy that's rumored to be potentially sliding this year. So here I'm going to have them take Christian Barmore.
Yo.
But this is a pick that I'm very, very not confident about.
I think I personally, if you follow me on Twitter, I've maybe tweeted about it 10,000 times. I think Christian Barmore is going at 26 to the Cleveland Browns. All the stars are aligning. I'm kind of feeling it. So I think it's really possible. We still don't have an edge off the board, Hunter.
Yeah. This is where I had where I had an edge going in my mock.
Yeah. And that's what I'm thinking too. Definitely a need for edge rushers here at 27. Who do you think is best fit in Baltimore?
I think
I'm leaning towards Aziz.
So Aziz is who I would have said, but apparently Peter King said there are rumors that he's going to slide due to him not passing some teams' medicals due to a knee injury. Or specifically a knee issue that came from him having a torn ACL back in the day or something like that. So maybe Joe Tryon here?
Oh, goodness gracious.
I don't like it at all.
There's so many edges I'd pick before Joe Tryon.
Maybe Jason Owe here.
I mean, you've got Phillips, who's got medical concerns.
Well, I mean, yeah, the thing is, like, so with Baltimore runs the weird, like, they're weird with their edges because they run that interchangeable defense thing.
Right.
Well, so that's why I said Tryon, but maybe, like, honestly,
yeah, I mean, Ojulari, the reason I'd said Ojulari is because Ojulari is really similar in size to Matt Judon, who they obviously lost. I mean, I think it could be really interesting which edges we see off the board first. I feel like we'll probably see an edge off before 27.
I think so too. This mock is falling this way.
Yeah, this is strange. It's always how it goes. I'm gonna go Kwity Paye, at 27. I think Kwity Paye is probably, aside from the Jalen Phillips thing, which he has a lot of question marks because of his injuries, the past concussions. I think Kwity Paye is probably just the most solid edge prospect. I mean, we have Azeez Ojulari, who apparently has medicals, and a lot of these guys have some issues that I've seen in gameplay. Kwity Paye at 27, I wouldn't be mad about it if I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan. And they have another pick at 31, so we'll see who goes there. The Saints pick at 28, though. Where do you think they're going here?
So I think the Saints are going to follow their classic routine of just taking best available.
Okay.
And I think with the way the board's looking, I think that's going to be Jalen Phillips.
Okay.
Because, but hold on, don't click it yet because I just want to double check it before I lock this in. How old is Cameron Jordan?
Let's look. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst idea. 31. He's starting to get a little bit older. I mean, I wonder what his contract looks like though, because
then there's also the Marcus Davenport question too.
Right. And they did just franchise tag him.
They didn't. No. Davenport, not Marcus Williams.
My bad. Sorry, I misheard you.
You're good. Okay, so they're kind of stuck with Cameron Jordan for a little bit.
Yeah, they're stuck with Cameron Jordan,
which is not bad.
No.
I'm actually gonna have them take a cornerback here, and I think it's gonna be Eric Stokes.
Okay.
Because they need to get better, just all the way around, like BPA type thing on the defensive side of the ball. So adding Eric Stokes is good. It also provides them an opportunity to get out of Marshawn Lattimore's contract to save cap space.
Yeah, I think it's really possible they could go receiver here too. I was looking
I think so too.
Looking at some of these guys, but it wouldn't surprise me if they went corner as well. I mean, if they think that Stokes is the best player for them, that's not a bad pick by any means. But we at 29, we have the Green Bay Packers. This is another one of those things where we every year we say, the Packers, they should pick a receiver, and they never do. I think they'll probably pick a tackle. And Leatherwood's here, Eichenberg is here. It's like we talked about with the Steelers. All these guys you kind of could trade up for in the second round, and it wouldn't be as big of a deal. You could pick somebody else with your first round pick. It's possible that the Packers could trade out of the first round, don't you think?
No, I actually don't. I think the Packers are going to stay put. Because I just think they're going to keep trying to get the one more guy to push them over the edge.
Who do you think that guy is?
So I had them taking a receiver in my mock.
Right.
I had them grab Elijah Moore.
Huh.
Because my obviously I'm not going to tell you to pick Elijah Moore, but my logic behind it was he gives Rodgers another weapon to pair opposite of Devontae Adams, and he gives Jordan Love, who might be handed the throne one day, might not, but he gives Jordan Love someone to grow with as a receiving option for him.
Yeah, I think if they're going to go receiver, I don't know, maybe I don't see Elijah Moore a lot of the way a lot of people do. I think they'll go Kadarius Toney. If I'm going to go receiver here, I'll go receiver. I'm not sure if they do go receiver in that first round, though. I mean, we've been waiting on it. I don't know what the holdup is, but Kadarius Toney was electric this season. And even if he's not the best receiver on the board here, I think the Packers may think pretty highly of him. I mean, once we get to this part in the receiver class, it could be anybody, So
yeah, I mean, like it's yeah. There's absolutely no telling what the Packers do, because the Packers are just a team that do weird shit.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
Like draft a quarterback who many had with a second or third round grade in the first round. Draft a backup running back with their second round pick.
Yeah. Because they re-signed Jones. I mean, anyways, we don't have to talk about running.
God, I'm one day I'm gonna finally like just snap about that and just go on like a 20-minute tangent. But today's not the day.
Today's not the day, but it could be because we have the Bills picking at 30. Those are my boys, but it's your pick. We did see though rumors that which it could be rumors once again that the Bills have a very big interest in Travis Etienne.
Yes, like yeah.
I think it's really a possibility.
I'm going to pick Travis Etienne here because I can't get past the rumors where it's rumored that they're willing to trade up in the first round, like trade from 30 to go up to pick Travis Etienne.
I mean, what that tells me is if they're willing to trade up, that tells me that there's other interest as well. That's
what I'm saying. Like I think the running backs are being valued in this class much more than people give them credit for.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And so I think that there could be, more than we think. I think we're going to be surprised by that come draft night. It's pick number 31. I'd really like to pick Creed Humphrey here. Another one of those guys where 10 out of 10 RAS, absolutely incredible athlete when it comes to his position. I think he was actually one of the top ranked centers as well. But this is one of our favorite picks in the draft, and I continue doing it because I think it's such an excellent fit. Terrace Marshall at 31 to the Ravens here. That team needs a real receiver. Terrace Marshall is 6'3", 200. Finally got the chance to shine without Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson all over him. When he got to be receiver one. And the Ravens team is full of those, these guys, Elijah Moore, Rondale Moore, Amari Rogers, Dwayne Eskridge. They're full of those guys, but Terrace Marshall is that solid, regular receiver that I think will be a real asset in Baltimore.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Marshall could do a lot of things to really help elevate the Ravens offense. I mean, the Ravens offense is already elite, but I think adding a guy like that just adds another dynamic that they are missing.
Certainly.
Because they don't really have a good outside the numbers target, and I think Marshall can be that. I don't know if he'll ever truly be like the number one in quotes because of like Mark Andrews being there, but I think Marshall at least gives them the option to switch to more of an outside the numbers passing attack.
Yes, absolutely. And give them, a physical receiver that can fight downfield. Last pick of the first round. It's pick number 32. We've still got quite a few edges on the board. Is that a possibility here for the Bucks?
Yeah, so what I'm thinking here is I think Jalen Phillips or Levi O from Washington are my two candidates at this pick. Because I think they're going to want to add a interior lineman to play next to Vita Vea and have a rotation going with Sue. So I think Levi O could be that guy. But at the same time, Jason Pierre-Paul is another year older, and a good edge rotation never goes out of style. And Jalen Phillips is the clear-cut, at least on tape, best edge. Obviously, medicals will make him fall.
Right.
So it's really just kind of a which one do I think they'll value. And I think I'm going to have them go Levi O here. And I don't like it, but I think that's what they're going to do.
Okay. Yeah, I think it could easily be Jalen Phillips. I think Jalen Phillips could go. We've talked about as early as 14. To the Vikings. It all depends on how nervous people are about the concussions. Obviously, Miami thought he was good enough to play, and so we have to give him that. But quite the mock here. I feel like I say that after everyone, but it's just a weird one, man. The quarterbacks, how they fall. I think Mac Jones at 3 is such a mistake, but I pray that he proves me wrong. He's probably a good guy. It's just, I can't say that I would do the same at 3. Parsons still sneaking in there at 9. Slater to the Eagles. So I think that there's a few different things here. 2 running backs in the first round is the biggest one that I think is a real possibility that we've yet to talk about on this cast. So
I hate that we have 2 running backs in the first round.
I think it's really possible, though, man. That's
I know. I think it's incredibly possible, and I hate it. And I know one day we're gonna have to get someone who's a running back supporter on here to explain this to us. But
yeah, just a running back guy. So it'll be interesting what we see when it comes to draft night. We've got 2 days. I'm trying to think of the number of hours. It starts at 8.
Starts at 8, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Thursday night at 8. We'll probably have a live stream going about 15 minutes beforehand, just to get things going. Come in. We're gonna be having a few brews, eating food.
Yeah, I've got some Blue Moons on deck.
I got the Mick Ultras because I'm trying to lose some weight while still enjoying beer.
Respect. That's a hard thing to do. And we'll probably gain weight from all the stress eating when it comes to Thursday. But we'll just have to see. I'm excited for the draft, man. I'm pumped to see you then, and hopefully you guys will join us 8:00 around on April 29th. Draft coverage, YouTube Live.
Follow us on Twitter. We'll be tweeting all the stuff out about it. Yeah, follow us on Twitter. H Thompson NFL, Arcado NFL, the Backups Cast. And if you aren't already, follow Around the Block on Twitter, our new home.
Yeah, our new home for the Backups of Football podcast. You can find us, like Hunter said, at the Backups Cast anywhere, whether that's Twitter, Podbean, Podcast, Spotify, etc. And hopefully you will join us, like I said, on YouTube Live for draft coverage. We will see you then. Peace.